Think you're getting a deal on that dream bike? Think again. Some motorcycles on the market are financial traps disguised as mechanical masterpieces. Bikes that look incredible on the showroom floor, but will drain your bank account faster than you can say dealer service. We're talking about machines where a routine valve adjustment costs $3,000. Engines with plastic parts that shred themselves without warning and destroy everything in their path. Touring bikes where you need to remove half the motorcycle just to change the spark plugs. In this video, we're counting down the 10 bikes that will absolutely demolish your wallet in repairs, ranked from bad to catastrophic. And here's the brutal truth. Some of these aren't exotic Italian superbikes. Number 4 on this list is an American icon that hides a ticking time bomb inside its engine, and it'll cost you over $2,000 to fix before it grenades itself. The number 1 bike on this list combines the worst of everything: proprietary parts that cost more than mortgage payments, specialized tools that only dealers have, and maintenance intervals that require you to take out a loan. Stick around, because if you're shopping for a used bike, missing this information could cost you thousands in repairs you never saw coming. Number 10. Kawasaki Ninja H2. Let's kick things off with a bike that sounds like a jet engine and costs about as much to maintain. The Kawasaki Ninja H2 and its track-only sibling, the H2R, are engineering marvels with a factory supercharger bolted to a high-revving inline-4. Problem is that supercharger introduces a level of complexity that most riders never consider. Unlike your standard liter bike, the H2 uses forced induction, which means specialized lubrication requirements, specific fluids, and components built to tighter tolerances than a Swiss watch. Everything about this engine operates under extreme stress. When something fails on the supercharger system, whether it's the impeller, dedicated seals, bearings, or intercooler components, you're looking at proprietary Kawasaki parts with zero aftermarket alternatives. The manufacturers of exotic European bikes have proven one thing: when they've got you locked into proprietary components, they price them however they want. The H2 follows this exact playbook. Any specialized maintenance check or component replacement specific to that supercharged motor will run you far beyond what you'd pay for a standard high-performance motorcycle. Here's the thing about the H2. It's reliable when maintained properly, but that maintenance isn't cheap. And when things do break, you're at the mercy of Kawasaki's parts pricing. You're not wrenching on this in your garage with basic tools. Number 9. KTM 1290 Superduke R. The Austrian Beast. That's what KTM calls it, and the repair bills live up to that name. The 1290 Superduke R with its early LC8 V-twin is a hooligan machine that's an absolute blast to ride. But KTM has a reputation problem when it comes to reliability and maintenance costs. Consumer data shows KTM bikes have a predicted failure rate of 33% by the 4th year of ownership. That's 1 in 3 bikes having problems before they hit their 4th birthday. Even simple tasks like oil changes get complicated because of screens and filters buried in places they shouldn't be. But here's where it gets expensive. The LC8 V-twin requires significant labor for major services like the 18,000-mile valve check. When electronic components fail, you're looking at price tags that'll make you question your life choices. An ABS module for a modern KTM platform costs nearly $1,800 as an OEM replacement part. $1,800 for one electronic module. Sure, you might find used or aftermarket parts for a few $100, but when you need that factory-specific component because of a failure, you're paying the proprietary tax. One owner bought a brand new Superduke and within the first 1,000 kilometers experienced leaky fork seals and a failed ABS module on a brand new bike. The 1290 Superduke R is a bike you buy for the thrills, not the long-term ownership experience. Budget accordingly. Number 8. Honda Goldwing GL 1800. Now here's a twist. The Honda Goldwing is one of the most reliable motorcycles ever built. These things run forever with minimal issues. So why is it on this list? Because Honda wrapped one of the most bulletproof engines in the industry inside a cocoon of fairings, bodywork, and plastic panels that turns simple maintenance into an expensive nightmare. The GL 1800 models made before 2018 require nearly complete fairing removal for routine maintenance. We're talking about the 24,000-mile service that includes checking valve clearances, replacing spark plugs, and changing air filters. Tasks that should be straightforward become marathon sessions of removing body panels. Labor estimates for this complete job consistently run about 6 hours. 6 hours of dealership labor rates, which translates to around $800 or more, including fluids and parts. The actual valve check itself takes about an hour. The other 5 hours? That's just getting to the engine. Here's the irony. The engine rarely needs anything because it's a Honda, but when it does, you're paying a premium just for access. Think of it as a reliability tax in reverse. The bike won't break down, but when it needs routine service, you're subsidizing Honda's decision to prioritize sleek bodywork over serviceability. If you're handy and patient, you can do this yourself and save hundreds. But most Goldwing owners aren't pulling fairings in their garage. They're paying the dealer, and the dealer knows exactly what they can charge for that 6-hour job. Number 7, Triumph Rocket 3. The Triumph Rocket 3 features the largest production motorcycle engine in the world. A massive inline-3 displacing over 2,300 cc's. It's a torque monster that sounds incredible and rides like nothing else on the road. It's also expensive to maintain because of one simple fact. Size matters. When you build the world's biggest motorcycle engine, every service that requires engine access becomes amplified by the sheer scale of the components involved. Routine maintenance that's straightforward on smaller bikes turns into major surgery on the Rocket 3. Valve adjustments and checks require extensive disassembly of surrounding components. The estimated labor time for checking and adjusting valves on this massive triple is 6 to 8 hours. At typical dealer labor rates, a complete major service including the valve check, spark plugs, and fluid changes runs around $1,500. Most of that cost is pure labor. The engine must be substantially stripped down just to reach the valve covers, whether the shims need replacement or not. You're paying for access to an engine that was designed for maximum displacement, not maximum serviceability. The Rocket 3 is a statement bike. It's for riders who want something different, something massive, something that makes every other bike look small. Just understand that maintaining that statement costs more than maintaining something more conventional. The bigger the engine, the bigger the bill. Number 6, Can-Am Spyder. Here's where things get ugly. The Can-Am Spyder is a 3-wheeled vehicle that appeals to riders who want stability and comfort. It's also one of the most statistically unreliable vehicles in the US market. Consumer Reports data from 2015 projected that Can-Am vehicles had the highest predicted failure rate of any brand reviewed, 42% by the 4th year of ownership. Let that sink in. 4 out of 10 Spyders will have problems by year 4. That's not a quality record, that's a disaster. This failure rate translates directly into frequent, unscheduled, and expensive repairs. The Rotax engine and proprietary 3-wheeled setup lock you into the BRP dealer network for advanced diagnostics and specialized repairs. You can't take this to your local independent mechanic. Routine costs are inflated compared to 2-wheelers. A DIY oil change kit costs $60 to $80, but dealer service runs $150 to $200. The initial mandated first service on a new Spyder RT has been documented at $505 for the first service. Owners report that costs keep climbing for subsequent scheduled maintenance. And because you've got 3 wheels instead of 2, you're replacing 3 tires instead of 2, increasing both the frequency and total cost of tire replacement. The Spyder attracts riders who might be transitioning from traditional motorcycles or who want a different experience. But that experience comes with a reliability problem that costs real money. When nearly half of these vehicles have issues within 4 years, you're not just paying for maintenance, you're paying for repairs you never planned for. Number 5, BMW K1600 GTL. BMW builds some of the most technologically advanced touring bikes on the market. The K1600 platform with its silky smooth inline 6-cylinder engine is a masterpiece of German engineering. It's also inherently expensive to maintain because of that very complexity. BMW's own maintenance offerings tell you everything you need to know. The Ultimate Care 3-year service plan for 6-cylinder models is priced at $1,849. That's for 3 years or 18,000 miles of basic scheduled maintenance. Basic maintenance. Individual regular services required every 6,000 miles run between $320 and $860. But wait, there's more. The K1600, like other BMW shaft-driven motorcycles, carries a notorious risk of final drive failure. When this specialized integrated component fails, you're looking at over $520 just for a used replacement part. Rebuilding a final drive requires specialized tools and precise shimming to set bearing preload correctly. This is an extremely technical repair that's expensive, even at the dealer level. The K1600 is a bike for riders who value smooth power delivery, integrated technology, and long-distance comfort. It delivers on all those promises, but owning one means accepting that BMW's engineering excellence comes with BMW's pricing structure. You're not just buying the bike, you're buying into a maintenance ecosystem designed around dealer service and proprietary components. If you can afford the initial purchase price, budget another couple grand per year for maintenance. The K1600 is a premium product with premium costs, and BMW makes sure you never forget it. Now, before we get to the top 4, let me remind you that these bikes get progressively worse in terms of repair costs. We're talking about machines that combine catastrophic failures, impossible maintenance procedures, and parts pricing that seems designed to fund a small country. If you're shopping used, pay close attention to what's coming. Number 4, Harley-Davidson Twin Cam touring models, 1999 to 2006. Here it is, the American icon with a hidden grenade inside its engine. If you're looking at used Harley touring models from 1999 through 2006, specifically those with the Twin Cam 88 engine, you need to know about the cam chain tensioner problem, and you need to know about it before you hand over your money. The early Twin Cam 88 engines used spring-loaded plastic cam chain tensioners, plastic shoes that guide the cam chains inside a hot, high-stress environment. Over time, these plastic pieces degrade and start shedding material. That plastic debris enters the lubrication system and fouls the rotary gear oil pump. When that pump fails, oil flow stops immediately, and your engine destroys itself without any warning. This isn't a gradual failure. There's no knocking, no warning signs. One moment you're riding, the next moment your engine is scrap metal. This failure can happen below 30,000 miles. It's unpredictable, catastrophic, and entirely preventable if you know what to do. There are 2 solutions. The preferred long-term fix is a gear drive conversion. Kits like the S&S 510G cost around $750 to $900 just for parts. But the total installed cost, which often includes upgraded lifters, oil pumps, and labor to check pinion shaft runout, runs from $1,500 to over $2,500. The alternative is Harley's own hydraulic tensioner upgrade kit, which replaces the flawed spring-loaded system with the more reliable hydraulic tensioners used in 2007 and later models. Parts cost around $500, but you're still looking at $1,200 to $2,000 installed. Here's the critical point. If you buy a used twin cam from this era and this upgrade hasn't been done, you must do it immediately. Not next month, not next year, immediately, because you have no idea when those plastic tensioners will fail. The cost of the upgrade is mandatory. It's not optional maintenance. It's the cost of owning the bike. Sellers know this. Many owners dump these bikes right before dealing with the problem, passing the financial bomb to the next buyer. Always verify the upgrade has been completed before purchasing. If it hasn't, subtract at least $2 grand from your offer price because that's what you'll spend in the first month of ownership. Number 3, MV Agusta F4. MV Agusta builds some of the most beautiful motorcycles ever created. The F4 is a rolling sculpture with an Italian pedigree and performance to match its looks. It's also a financial nightmare in the US market because of parts scarcity and limited dealer networks. MV Agusta is a low-volume, exotic manufacturer. There aren't MV dealerships on every corner like there are for Honda or Yamaha. Finding a qualified mechanic who can work on these bikes is challenging. Finding parts when something breaks is even worse. While Ducati has established substantial parts inventory in the US, MV Agusta parts are often subject to lengthy delays. When a critical component fails, you're not waiting days for a replacement. You're waiting weeks or months. That downtime is part of the true cost of ownership, and it's something most buyers never consider. The F4 platform is also known for chronic overheating issues, especially in traffic or warm climates. Mitigation requires expensive, non-standard preventative upgrades, racing water pumps, replacement fan blades, additional radiator fans. These aren't cheap fixes, and they're not covered under warranty because they're aftermarket modifications to solve a factory design problem. Owners of MV Agustas often describe them the same way: the best bike they've ever ridden when it runs. That qualifier, when it runs, tells you everything you need to know. These are bikes for collectors and enthusiasts who have other motorcycles to ride, while their MV sits at the dealer waiting for parts shipped from Italy. If you're considering an F4, make sure you have access to a reliable authorized dealer network. Make sure you have another bike to ride, and make sure you have patience, because you'll need it when parts logistics turn a simple repair into a month-long ordeal. Number 2. Aprilia RSV4, early models 2009 to 2012. The Aprilia RSV4 is a V4 superbike that was designed to compete with the best from Japan and Italy. The early models, particularly those built before 2013, are incredible machines with serious issues that will cost you dearly. The V4 engines from this era suffered from several known problems: valve spring failures and charging system issues, specifically the stator and regulator rectifier. When these components fail, you're looking at expensive proprietary Aprilia parts and significant labor to install them. But the real killer is scheduled maintenance. Valve clearance adjustment on these compact V4 engines is extraordinarily complicated. A documented 12,500-mile service that included valve clearance adjustment resulted in a final bill of approximately $1,700. The mechanic who performed the work admitted they underestimated the labor time because of how difficult it was to access the components. When unscheduled failures happen, costs escalate quickly. An OEM clutch kit runs nearly $500. A replacement sprag clutch, which is a critical starting component prone to failure, costs around $150 just for parts. That doesn't include the extensive labor required to access and replace these buried components. The RSV4 is a stunning motorcycle with track-focused performance and exotic Italian engineering. It's also a bike that should come with a warning label about maintenance costs. If you're buying one used, factor in that $1,700 service interval. If the previous owner skipped it, or if the bike is approaching that mileage, add it to your purchase price mentally, because it's coming due. Aprilia builds amazing motorcycles, but they build them for riders who either have deep pockets or who are skilled enough to wrench on them independently. For everyone else, the RSV4 is a beautiful way to go broke. Number 1. Ducati Panigale V4. Here it is, the number 1 wallet destroyer. The Ducati Panigale V4 combines Italian exotic status, racing pedigree, in the most expensive maintenance schedule in the motorcycle industry. The reason? The desmodromic valve system. Ducati's Desmo system uses mechanical shims to both open and close the valves, effectively doubling the components and complexity compared to conventional valve trains. This intricate system requires highly specialized tooling and certified Ducati mechanics who know exactly what they're doing. Ducati has tried to soften the blow by extending service intervals on modern models to 15,000 miles or even 18,000 on some platforms. But extending the interval doesn't reduce the cost, it just delays the financial devastation. When that service comes due, you're looking at $1,650 to over $3,000 for the major Desmo service. One documented service bill came in at $24,022. The high cost is driven by labor. These services can take 10 hours of shop time, 10 hours at dealer rates, and you can't skip it. The Desmo system requires precise adjustment to function correctly. Neglect it and you're risking valve train damage that'll cost far more than the service itself. Many Ducati owners know this, which is why they sell their bikes right before the service interval comes due. They pass the financial burden to the next buyer, who often has no idea what's coming. If you're shopping for a used Panigale, always check when the last Desmo service was performed. If it's approaching or past due, factor that $3,000 service into your offer price. Beyond maintenance, Parts for these exotic machines are priced accordingly. One owner documented spending $25,000 on modifications and replacement parts to rebuild a crashed Panigale V4. $25,000. That's used car money spent on parts for one motorcycle. The Panigale V4 is a masterpiece of motorcycle engineering. It's also a financial commitment that goes far beyond the purchase price. When you buy a Ducati, you're not just buying a bike. You're buying into a maintenance ecosystem that requires dealer service, specialized tools, and costs that would make most riders cry. Now that you know which bikes to avoid, check out the 25 motorcycles everyone's actually buying right now. These are the models flying off showroom floors in 2025, and some of them might surprise you. Click the video on your screen.